Days, we are continuing World War 5. And yeah, before I started the video, I decided to put naval dominance. This is what it looks like with the American Union, which stretches almost down to Antarctica from all the way north of Canada. Yeah, it's pretty much chilling. With the United Europe suffering losses and losses. And me just realizing not the greatest show of this because I'm only showing a small section. This is our continuation of our alternate future of the world series. This is a wild mapper video, obviously. I hope you know that. Well, I hope. But just to let you know, you should subscribe to Wild Mapper. Like, we're trying to get to 100 before Christmas. Which is possible. So subscribe, guys. Doesn't take long to get a lot of subscribers. But this is like basically where a second land campaign has started. Russia starts its campaign. Well, this resurgent Russia from World War IV. But it doesn't look like they'll win. It looks like they're soon going to make a Polish puppet. Is what I think. It's going to happen soon. Which they do establish. Which is great for them, but not very great for the other teams. With them annexing former Kaliningrad areas too. With them annexing this. Actually, they don't annex it. They kind of annex these lands. The Hungary just stays where it is. So they established a new puppet very quickly into the video. But how long do you think they'll be able to keep it? I'm not sure. I guess an amount of time. But Hungary refusing to fall. With the German area in a huge strain. With Berlin being right on the outside. But Germany does some strategic maneuvers. But then Iberia, bad news comes from it. Which, with a major successful campaign into Europe. Which cuts this off. And eventually they manage to take Lisbon. Which basically collapses the front, the Iberian front. As long as they can hold on to Barcelona, it looks like stuff will be fine. But it's looking increasingly unlikely for them to be able to hold off. With them even managing to pull off some Italian landings. With the capture of Venice, they then managed to capture Rome and then Naples. Which is not great for Italy, who continues being pushed back. With neutral Switzerland just watching and eating popcorn, what a shock. Switzerland, what does popcorn taste like? You must love it. That's all you do. Or are you eating chips? Or are you just eating chocolate? I hope you're not using your no-no gold. And the campaign towards Marseille is started, which is a success in Marseille Falls, with them pushing up towards Lyon, which they managed to take. And well, they're basically start to take Monaco area. With this happening, with it being likely that this front will collapse after Barcelona falls, it being murdered after this starts happening. With French troops fleeing. They do not forget their equipment because they're not like Russia. in our world. And then they go up and take Bordeaux, which, for those of you who are not familiar, this front has went to the poop. So basically, hey, they even managed to do this. Naval dominance hasn't moved that much, actually. This happens, then that happens. But this is Finland we're talking about. They might be able to invade Caleria, but do you really think they can get that far? And also, naval dominance up there is like one ship, one icebreaker, basically. And then Finland starts not liking this. But with Russia looking like this, it makes it weaker because of how big it is. But this is one of the biggest defeats faced by the blue team. To the red team, with the blue team pushing naval dominance back towards Africa. Which most likely will lead to this, which is not very great, because now you're fighting in multiple waters. And also, with them trying to establish an amount of control, they end up losing control in Iberia and Europe, which they cut them off from Russia and push the forces back quickly, too. This is a very demoralizing event, too. With American forces landing north of Lisbon, Brits landing here. But I think Britain and Ireland is a part of the European United Europe. So this happens. With Bordeaux being retaken. With the Battle of Barcelona breaking out, the second battle, which is a success for the blue team. Well, this is where they start their campaign slowing in this Iberia. But their strategy goes really well, and it allows this to happen. With no Iberian puppet being established. With the China front actually going horrible. With Korean advances towards Korea not going so well. But they managed to hold out there and in this part of Korea. So basically that happens. And here, it could have been better. This happens. But seeing this front collapsing, countries are left scrambling with ideas. With Iran managing to start falling. Shockingly. Iran, they lose control over. Iran is reestablished as a country. Which, it's not the blue team is not doing during war annexations because they're more concerned about winning. They even push up to the Caspian Sea, splitting Russian forces in two. With America saying, hey, we need oil. Yeah, one sec. Iraq's navy has been completely obliterated. What? By an unknown source. Nobody knows who it is. But they seem to be calling themselves Freedom. And yeah. With them launching amphibious landings everywhere. Who do you think is Freedom, anyways? Comment your opinions. And this happens. And if you want to see the oil war continue, the third Iraq war, probably like the 16th, because I think I did a bunch in this series. And this is what Iraq looks like. Iraq is like completely, with Turkey starting to reconsider its position in this war after some bad events happen for Turkey. Some unfortunate events happen. But many military experts are saying that, well, it'll likely do good. With a Greek rebellion breaking out along with Bulgarian rebellions, even going into Russia, this happens. With Turkey in a bad spot. They eventually are fed up with the war and even sign some peace. A peace treaty. So, effect. And it allows a free Georgia, some free areas. But Turkey is expected to free quite a significant area. They get these islands, which basically is like, and we forgot about one thing. You know whose navy we're going to look at? Well, what did their navy occupy? A bit more than they probably should have been. North Africa thought they would be loyal. Turns out they weren't. And it turns out this is how much they trusted Turkey. With all of this quickly collapsing. With Russia have done its best to try and keep these lands under their control, this happens. Did you really try your best and not succeed? Well, while this is happening, we forgot about Hungary's front. Hungary is like, hey. And Germany's like, hey. With this happening. And now a peace treaty being signed. A crazy peace treaty. With Bulgaria gaining a significant amount of land. Greece being established here. And Albania is established. And Serbia is established with some extra land. Yeah, maybe actually figure out the colors. Might be my best strategy, guys. With this basically being Serbia. Which is such a great idea. Give them some lands, and our world is kind of not the best idea. And, well, we now see the Balkans liberated by one nation. But due to this, they came with one condition. They annexed some former Iraq territory, which was barely accepted. And, well, Turkey gets some lands it wanted. And I also made bad border colors choices. And while it looks like the war is starting to clear, any Turkish support collapsing before the might of the countries. With this being the downfall of it. With Madrid falling. Madrid was so occupied that it just basically... And this basically starts happening. With American forces sending their navy in. The United Americas is doing something. And, well, it appears that it might be too late for Africa. Which is not really that big, but I don't know what they'll do with it. I don't think they're going to redivide it, because that would be something. With this actually happening. With Sardinia and Corsica falling, along with the fall of Italy beginning. With the European forces with a vow to form a actually peace being vowed upon by a lot of elected figures. With the first major shift in the war, with experts seeing that it's almost improbable that this team will lose, with Israel still being occupied, Iraq basically collapses. Israel is freed again, with them pushing all the way and even freeing the Suez Canal, which basically signified that, well, Africa's grip on the waters is going away, sadly for them. But they did pick the wrong side. I think it's going to be split into like a north. And while Africa is not in a good position, as it turns out, with this happening, with United Africa's threat being neutralized, but it's still like they still want to have more blood. With these areas' fate being cemented as a good look, with them having a great outlook, with them pushing down through here. And, well, it looks like they even liberated some Sudanese land, with this completely collapsing. Well, it was just puppets, so no wonder it just collapsed. With them crossing into Djibouti, which is basically a way of spreading their might. And they do this, with it seeming like colonization is happening again. And they start pushing down the coast. Well, then they're like basically vowing the freedom of these areas, and people are actually happy of it being likely divided into a few pieces. Egypt, it looks like it's going to have a good part. And look, they're just basically taking the coast. Let's follow the Niger River. And somehow they're crossing mountains into the desert. And some kind of desert invasion happens. But then they realize, oh yeah, there's oil up here. When they realize there's oil, this becomes the front line. And then in West Africa, basically starts collapsing. This unification starts collapsing, with regions and regions declaring will to join the Americans. With it looking like it's going to become the East African Federation again. And that's it for the United Africa. Now, well, all of their fronts are completely, the red team is completely in a bad spot. Their navy is now overtaken, which I guess seemed inevitable. So now they have complete naval dominance, which is pretty great, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty great. It's 100% great. And, well, now it's time to watch the fronts collapse. Well, China fares better because the West is ready for its revenge. And, well, seems like the treaty will be... And they even liberate these lands. With these lands being barely held good, so this happens. With them quickly taking St. Petersburg. With a new strategy breaking out this. They call it Blitz. They call it Western Blitz. And, well, they managed to liberate many areas. I think we'll see Africa's treaty in this video, and the next video we'll see China and Russia's. But you never know. With the West basically vowing to put a peace in. And this is what it looks like after it collapsed. And now I think I'm going to go into part of a peace treaty, but not completely into the peace treaty. Like, I think I'm going to do Africa, and in the next video I'll start up there. Africa and the Middle East in this video. So divided up. There's a South Africa, West Africa, there's a Central African Republic, there's all these nations. There's the Arabian Union is freed, Israel is, Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, back to earlier borders of 2022. And, well, the treaty isn't going to be finished today because it's such a long treaty. I'll finish it in the next video of the Alternate Future of the World series because, well, it would make the episode a bit lengthy. And the lengthy videos are not necessarily the best ones because sometimes they get too long, and too long is not very great because when it's too long, it kind of makes people get bored of it. And yeah, that's about it for today's video. And what else? Well, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by Christmas. So if you could please subscribe, that'd be great. And when I get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to make a Dictators No Peace live stream of me taking over the world in Dictators No Peace. As a country. Whatever's any country. Any country, basically. So, we're in a good spot for getting to 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers. We're getting close to 100 subscribers. We're only 14 away as of making this video. Make it so the next time I say how many subscribers I'm away, it's walked right out of the park. And please like and subscribe. Why should you like and subscribe? Because subscribing helps the channel. So please like and subscribe. You should also leave a comment about what you think of how it's going. Or how you are feeling. And look at Angola just back. The East African Federation's back. Like, Africa just looks totally more secure than it did. And the world is in a unification swing, so, like, some places are getting divided. But it's really, like, nationalism is starting to stop. The Alternate Future series will probably go to unification of the world. But once the world unites, it won't end there. We'll have nationalism probably rise again. All in all, you should keep your eye out for the next video, because the next video is going to go through the rest of the treaty and go ahead to the future further, because it's probably 2075 now. Yeah. 2175. Like, that's a long time away. I hope the world doesn't follow this prediction so far. But it's more so went from being possible reality to more like, yeah, complete fiction and just entertainment. I'm hoping this is entertaining you, because we're getting far in this series. Next thing we'll be at 2200, and we'll all be like, oh. I wonder, will we be to 2100 in this? If 2200 first, or will we get to the subscribers of 100 in the special? May not be the exact day of. I'm hoping to get to 100 before Christmas. That might not happen, but I'm hoping it does, and I know it will. Especially if you guys find people to subscribe. Why don't you email it to people you know that are interested in this kind of stuff. Or just email in general. Get subscribers. Because subscribers are chill. So, please like, subscribe, and comment. That's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out.